Good day and welcome to another episode of Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I'm your host, the voice of reason. So in this episode, I'm going to talk about Eritrea and the need for the United States to, at some point in the very near future, do two things. First, either see some sort of regime change inside of Eritrea, where Afwerki is no longer the dictator of that nation state, and two, find a way to establish basing rights inside of Eritrea. So why is it in the United States' best interest to, number one, remove Afwerki, and two, establish basing rights inside of Eritrea? Well, first off, the morality of the Eritrean regime, the culture of the Eritrean regime that currently exists, is not in alignment with that of the United States. It would be very difficult for the United States to get into a very tight relationship with something of what the current Eritrean government looks like now, which is this despotic dictatorship. We just couldn't do it. It would be difficult for us as a country. But we could enter into agreements and alignments with a state that had values that were different than the current values that exist. And then why the basing rights? Why does the United States absolutely need to have strong bases in this part of the world? Well, in the very near future, probably within the next 10 years, the competition between the United States and the People's Republic of China is going to be beyond Cold War levels that existed between the Soviet Union and the United States back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. The People's Republic of China is going to exceed the military capacity of which the Soviet Union had back in the 70s and 80s. It is going to far exceed in terms of global power projection. The Chinese are going to have more aircraft carriers. They're going to have more amphibious assault ships. They're going to have an advantage in technology at some point. They do have certain advantages in technologies now. If you look at some of the ballistic missile capabilities that the Chinese have. But they're also catching up in terms of aircraft. Their radars are becoming better. There's just a whole host of systems that puts China ahead of the kind of competition that the United States faced against the Soviet Union. So the ability to have the kind of global security to be able to prevent China from gaining access to the Red Sea, the Gulf of Aden, the Arabian Sea. We're going to have basing rights. We're going to have the ability to enter into agreements with some of these countries, and especially Eritrea, and establish sites where the United States could have a permanent and only presence. In the state of Djibouti, the Chinese have a great presence there now. So it's going to be in the best interest of the United States to have a presence inside of Eritrea. And not just Eritrea. There's going to be other states that we're going to have to enter into agreements with to be able to counter the Chinese. And again, when we kind of get into the realm of 2030 and further, I mean, it is the stated goal of the Chinese to surpass the United States military. So why do the Chinese want to do that? Well, they're looking at global hegemony as well. They want to be in a near position as the United States in terms of power projection around the globe. And they're in the process of doing that. So again, it is in great interest to the United States to take an interest in Eritrea.